My cat.
Your cat. How many you have? One?
We have one cat and one dog and 5 girls. So I apologize in advance for any of the background noise. All my daughters are home and
Nice.
downstairs hopefully will be uninterrupted.
Well, it's the best kind of interruption, so
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Thank God. How are you today, Kfir?
Very good. Very good.
Excellent. So do you mind giving me a 30-second rundown about yourself, your background?
Sure. So my background is, grew up the geeky way. We were the generation of, building computers and changing motherboards and graphic cards and sound cards from the early 286 computers to the Pentium 4s to, we were very, very lucky. We saw the internet evolving. We saw LAN parties turn into online plays, turn into, late nights playing World of Warcraft. So that's us, exactly. Heroes 3, America's Army, all of those fun games. So that's how I grew up, and I mean, naturally grew up with software, creating software, hacking each other's computers because it was so easy back then. Like opening somebody's CD while he's playing and just like messing up with their play. I went into the military as a airplane mechanic. I also had 3 years in Mada. I was, as a teenager, just when the second Intifada was raging in Netanya, a very chaotic time. So I went to be an airplane mechanic. All of my friends, went into software and algorithms and everything. But I just hated mathematics. I hated like deep mathematics, algebra and all that stuff. It's not for me. After the military, I went and I've started my law career. So I did my LLB, LLM. I had 6 years as a lawyer. I did my internship, everything, the bar, everything. And I practiced mainly international commercial law with tech companies. So always involved with, intellectual property. It was some companies did biopharmaceuticals. The other one did advanced optics. I wrote my thesis on adjusting the patent law to the new digital age and why I hate patents in software. Basically, that's what I was saying in that thesis. In 2017, I decided that I do not want to be a lawyer anymore. I want to be something else, and that's why I started my romance with venture capital. I started with our crowd for about like 4 years. And then funded one fund that's called End Ventures here in Israel. I was there for a year, just a little over a year, and then left. Did a few months of like angel investing into one really cool company called Kahuna. I was backed by a family office from the US that we've been working together for quite a long time. And in the beginning of 2022, I started to work on this new fund that I'm now building with my partner. Other than that, I'm how do you say? I'm a cycling fan. I cycle every day. I'm a big coffee snob. I collect sneakers. I'm a big basketball fan. I have a son his name is Lavi. I have a dog and married to Sharon, and we live in Tel Aviv, just like a minute away from the beach because I just love the corrosion.
I love that. Amazing. Wow. Very impressive. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. So what's your big dream?
My big dream? Other than the personal stuff, right? Like, I mean, we all want to have personal goals and then career goals. So on the career side, I just want to be the guy that entrepreneurs come to first. That's my big dream, to be dead honest. Like I want to become that person that early stage entrepreneurs, people who are just now starting and launching a new thing, or maybe launching like their ideation phase. I want them I want to be that guy they come and sit with. And maybe other entrepreneurs will go and tell them, hey, before you do anything, you have to come and sit with Kfir. I just want to be that. Like that's what I want to be in the market. More than anything else, like more than amazing IRRs and stuff like that. Like that's my personal career goals.
And it sounds like it's because you give more than just money.
I believe that we should. I mean, money is, we are now living in a different era than it was like November ago. Money at the end of the day is just a commodity, especially here in Israel is one of the largest ecosystems of innovation in the world. So when we're talking about venture capital, there is capital, okay? There's money running around. It's maybe harder now because of aggressive interest environment, and the global markets are going down, and a lot of the VCs are kind of like sitting on the sidelines. Eventually, money is here. It's looking for great companies, and I just want to give something else to the entrepreneurs. Don't come talking to me if you want just money. Like if you are only looking at me as like as a wallet, so sababa, but it's not going to work between us.
So what else do you provide?
Well, it's a lot of things that are not really systematic, I would say. I do not like buzzwords, and I do not like to kind of like wave a flag of some sort of value add and stuff like that. But reality is that here in 91 Ventures, the new fund that we've created, we have a lot of founders that invest with us. So successful technological entrepreneurs who invest with us as LPs. And eventually they are also on a mission to be here for the entrepreneurs that the fund will eventually invest in. So that's value. I don't know how to call it, but think about somebody who's building a new company. He's a first timer, but he gets the chance to sit with somebody who's made it very, very, very big, even an hour a month. That's a huge value. Another thing that we have is my partner. I mean, my partner is his name is Ovi Hamama. He's a leading business person here in the country. He's been investing in Israeli tech since 1999. And he's an unbelievable financial business mind. So every company, especially these days, we feel it, has to be built on strong elements of a business, right? Like the unit economics, the financials. He has those capabilities and understanding market and money that I've never seen in any other situation. And that's a huge value, like especially if you're a fintech company, like that's like unbelievable, like to pick his brain. So we also provide that as like an inside thing that we have. And we have large networks, the people we know, the people we worked with, multinational corporations that we have worked with. It helps to validate, it helps to find new potential customers. It helps for so many things, but I don't really know how to brand it or color it on just one thing. It's just a big mechanism that's working together.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it's a lot of mentoring as well.
I think, yeah, it's called a stewardship. I think that's like, it's a word that I learned now and I expanded my English vocabulary. It's really working with those folks, with those entrepreneurs, and try to bring them as much things that we can build around them and help them. Mm-hmm. Just by the power of the network, the power of the LPs. We, by definition, as a fund, I mean, the reason it's 91, it's not random. 91 is the jersey number of Dennis Rodman, who's my idol, and I have a tattoo inspired by him. He's the guy, like and his identity at the end of the day, he's the biggest outlier out there. And we focus on finding the outliers, not necessarily the people in the mainstream, not necessarily the second, third timers who are, I mean, yeah, maybe we'll have some deals like that, but first-timer team who are not necessarily within the mainstream typecast of entrepreneurs. These are the people we love most to work with. Usually, it's either you fail very hard with them or you succeed unbelievably big with them. But these people at the beginning of their way as entrepreneurs, they need an entity or like this mechanism that can help them build what they're building faster. So if somebody who's never been an entrepreneur, maybe even not been playing in the technological ecosystem for too long, comes from something other than that, and now they can have time to sit with, I don't know, a founder of a huge company or somebody who's leading innovation in a very big multinational corporation who's an LP and will dedicate the time to work with them. It's just like kind of like cheating, right? I mean, I grew up as a gamer. We hated cheaters, but cheating was all over. But we want to cheat. We want to help them cheat. I mean, we want to put them on the fast track by logging them into those people.
How do you identify the outliers?
Wow, it's such a big question, but it takes one to know one. Okay, basically, I'm an outlier. Ovi is an outlier. I look at myself as my career evolving with the venture capital world. I was always looking at areas of interest or technological areas that were not in the mainstream. When I was doing cannabis deals for our crowd, I was ridiculed because of, you're going to another meetup with your potheads. And that's okay, sababa. Back then, it was just like on the sideline. It was such an outlier industry. And 6 months later, everybody wanted to do cannabis because it became so big. And just like food tech in 2018, I remember going to the Strauss demo day, and like kudos to the kitchen guys by Strauss, who were first like to run that boat. I remember going to those events and the demo days and seeing some of the companies that are now unicorns, like just 4 years later, when they were pre-seeding, looking for money. Nobody, I mean, like maybe 3 other VCs were in the room, but it was such a niche. Now it's 11% of the venture capital spend in Israel, food. Not everybody wants to become a food sustainability investor now these days. But where were you 4 years ago when these people just needed somebody to talk to? They just needed access into venture capital. Nobody gave them nobody opened the door to them. Also, you know, I did a company in the world of esports just a year and a half ago, right? Esports was a niche. Not many funds were looking at it. Again, kudos to Reimagine by Easy and Kevin. Amazing people. They were like first to understand that this is something great, but not many were looking at the esports. I did a deal. 6 months later, Mark Zuckerberg changes the name of Facebook to Meta, and now everybody is a metaverse investor. And the metaverse, by definition, is the world of gaming, is the world of esports, is the world of virtual communities that gamers, that's what they are. And then that company just went on an amazing trajectory, like flying to space. But just 6 months earlier, nobody wanted to touch it with a laser. So it's that kind of mentality of trying to be where it's not cool yet, okay? When Dennis Rodman came to the NBA wearing all his tattoos and dyeing his hair, he was the outcast. He was the outlier. He was a misfit. David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA, would find him every game. Now all the NBA players have tattoos. All the NBA players come to court wearing like amazing outfits and not suits anymore. He was like a first mover, and it takes balls to be a first mover. You need to have a different kind of mindset. So I am like that, just by how I grew up and the values I believe in. And I believe that eventually I have a sensitivity to it, like a sensor to it, to finding outliers, to finding outlier markets. It's nothing that I do methodology. I don't have any methodology to that. That's the biggest problem. How do you explain a new investor in your fund that you don't know why you get to all those markets and deals before it becomes hyped? I don't have a system to that. It's just like the way I like the world sends stuff to me, or I go out about the world. Saying anything else would be a lie, and I'm not gonna lie.
Sounds like using a lot of intuition.
gut feelings. Yeah, definitely. Gut feelings, intuitions. I mean, our gut is maybe the best machine learning engine that was ever developed, right? You feed it
Our
with
second
so much
brain.
data.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feed it with so much data, so many companies that you met, and areas of interest that you've explored, and individuals that you sat with, and you felt them, and you connected or not. And then your gut is developing these machine learning capabilities, and it gives you a prediction on a company or a space that you don't know how to explain. If you want to explain it, you need explanatory AI, which is another element of deep tech. So I don't know why the gut that my partner and I have is bringing us those signals. It's experience, it's intuition, like you said, but I just do not know how to explain it too much.
Very nice. Sorry. I apologize.
No worries.
I love that because I myself am one of those people. I view myself as an outlier, sort of as an outcast. I've spoken about this many times. For a period of time, I viewed myself as a rebel and a coach of rebels, right? And there are a lot of people who struggle with understanding how and where they fit. And I like to share with them the following story that I heard when I was a teenager. So you're familiar a bit with Judaism, and we have a concept of tfilat shmoneh esrei, where we stand up and you're not allowed to move, and you're not allowed to talk, and you just focus on the words you're saying, praying to God. So the story goes that there was a rabbi who lived 150 years ago, and he asked a theoretical question. He said, imagine you are in the middle of that part of your prayers, that you're praying in the middle of a forest, and you notice something in the corner of your eye in the river near you. Now, it could be that what you see there, unclearly because it's a bit distant, is a human being drowning. And it could be it's a log floating in the water. The question he proposes, is there a way to identify what it is without moving from your spot? That was the theoretical question he proposed. And of course, if it's a human being drowning, then you are obligated to stop your prayers and go save the person, right? So he said the answer is yes, there is a way to identify. How? He said, if it's going with the stream, it's a log. If it's going against the stream, it's a human being.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Most people in most circumstances are logs. They just go with the stream. Very few people stand up against the stream. Those are the outliers. Those are the rebels. Those are
I want to show you something. Just a second. I'm going to go to my bookshelf. I want to show you something that my investor last year, when I came to them in the US, and I told them, hey guys, I want to build my new fund. I don't have any like smart thing to say why I get all these amazing deals coming to me first, but it's just happening. I mean, they have been investing with me for many years. They've been taking and they're deploying capital into the companies that I've sourced for many years, and they know my successes, they know my persona. And they told me, you know, we absolutely get it. Like, we know you, and we understand why we should be backing you and why we should be in business with you. And they gave me this book. Oh no, it doesn't.
Yes.
It's called Rare Breeds.
Rare Breeds. Okay, it's hard to see, but okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to cancel the virtual background. It's basically a book about a few ladies that opened a marketing agency, focusing on telling the story of entrepreneurs or businesses that are swimming against the stream, as you said.
Love it. Wow.
And basically celebrating the rare breeds and celebrating the weirdness in you, or the unlikeness, like how you are not like just anybody else. So they gave me this book, which is a really good read. And yeah, I absolutely relate to what you said.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. And one of the things I live by and I help my clients live by is that different is better than better.
Mhm.
When everyone's
Different
striving
is-
to be better, that's not going to help. You're going to be
Mhm.
remaining in the same red ocean. But if you are different, then you have no competition.
Interesting. That's a good point. I like it.
And the truth is, not everyone could live like that
Mhm.
because most people are let's call it, stuck in the matrix. they're they're living the same way they believe everyone has to live. There's one best way. There's one right way, and it's a challenge for many of them to transform their minds into this new way of thinking.
Mhm.
But in reality, we're all unique.
Do you know Meir Ariel? Meir Ariel, the great Israeli poet singer.
Sure.
So on one of his shows, he was saying a story about he was growing up in a kibbutz. He was a kibbutz member for all his life. And
Mhm.
in the kibbutz, everybody need to take care of the lawn and make it green. And so he, by purpose, never watered his lawn. Um, just like his lawn became yellow and everybody will go to him and say, why don't you do it green? Why don't you take care of it? You are like, are you crazy? Like look at your neighbor's lawn. And he told them that he does it because he wants his neighbor to have a greener lawn. And if he will work to also have a green lawn, then he's just not going to be like anybody else.
Yeah,
And they told him, so don't you want to be normal? He said, I'm not I'm not crazy enough to be normal.
that's right. Exactly.
So
So he was very cognizant and very aware of
mhm,
how this works and how people operate. Thank you for
mhm,
sharing that. It's great. I love that. So if if you could name one challenge that you now have in your business, that if you could
mhm.
fix only that challenge while neglecting to fix any other problem that you're faced with. But if you do fix that, it will fix all the other ones by default. What problem would that be?
um, I think the biggest challenge I'm facing building a business, building this new thing, this new brand is telling my story or telling the story of 91 Ventures briefly or like in a short blurb on email. It's like it's so hard to me. I have I have a friend who's one of the best PR agents here in the country, um, and we're working on releasing the PR for 91 Ventures because we raised a lot and we've done it very fast and we are here, we are in the market, we are open to business. And I've literally, and I kid you not, he sent me 7 guiding questions that I need to fill with information so he can go and then fish it with send it to the reporters and see who wants to write about it. For the last 2 weeks, this email is open on my laptop. Every day I'm saying I'm gonna do it now. Every time that it gets to the question like, how are you different? What are you doing? Explain. I'm like, how do I tell it? Like that's my biggest because I feel a little uncomfortable
Mm,
saying um, um, talking about myself, like us. I hate talking about us. Like it's like, come on, like let's talk about the entrepreneurs. Let's talk about the startups we're gonna invest in.
yes,
Let's talk. That's more interesting to me.
yes.
But you need to do it. You need to do it in order when you need to go to the press, when you need to reach out in a cold email to a family office in New York because you're going in a few weeks and you want to create meetings. That's my biggest roadblock. I just feel uncomfortable with that.
Well, I totally understand that on many levels, and I adore the fact that you don't want to talk about you, but you want to talk about the people you want to serve, people you want to help, these entrepreneurs. And the truth is, there's a fantastic book, maybe the best book about neuromarketing. Um, I'm blanking on the name right now. I have it. I have the book, the Persuasion Code. That's what it's called. And they've analyzed. It's two neuroscientists who've analyzed what really impacts our brain and how to market according to the brain, to brain sciences. Fascinating read. And one of the things they say is you'll notice that a lot of times companies, the keyword in their marketing is I, we, and it should be you. That should be the keyword.
Mhm.
And the more times you have you as opposed to I and we, the more successful your marketing and advertising will be. Because you're actually reaching out, you're speaking
Mhm.
about them.
Mhm.
So what if, and I'm not saying this has to be the general rule that whenever you reach out to anyone, you're speaking in the you, because like you said, when you're reaching out to your potential investors in the States or whatever, you are going to be speaking about yourself. But in general, as a way of filtering, think of the people you want to serve, these outliers, and start defining what an outlier means to you. And you could build it up through examples because you're not there for everyone. You don't want to invest in just anyone who wants money. You're very, very particular and very specific.
Mhm.
So think of those people. And yes, reach out as you presenting to them. Speak to those people. If you are an outlier, if you've always felt different in your space, if you've failed to raise money because no one understood you, because you were too new, or whatever it is, too innovative, you always felt you were ahead of your time, whatever it is in your case, right? Give a whole list of examples, then you and us should have a chat.
Mhm.
Speak about them. And
Mhm.
what I would highly recommend is instead of thinking in demographics, think of psychographic, because you're looking for a type of person.
Mhm.
It could be from anywhere. There's no one specific area in the country they have to come
For
from,
sure. Mhm.
right? So think of the type of person.
Mhm.
What's happening up here? How they view the world. And it actually should be quite easy for you because that's exactly your story.
Yeah, I get it. I need to practice that mindset a little bit more. But yeah, that's a huge challenge.
Well,
And
I could offer you my assistance. I've done this stuff before. Seriously, no plug-in, no whatever. I'm here to help. This is
that's
what I do.
beautiful.
This is one of the things I do.
Mhm. Mhm.
I help crystallize people's businesses. Sometimes I had a lot of difficulty doing that myself because of the same challenge that you have. Because I am different. I am unique. I don't fit in anywhere. There is no box,
Mhm.
right? You can't put me in any box.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I heart to heart, I totally feel this challenge. So I know exactly where you are, and I appreciate it because honestly, you're the first VC. I've met many entrepreneurs in that boat, but you're the first VC who proudly presents themselves as someone who supports those type of people.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's just that. And it's there are amazing people out there. So many brilliant people in our industry, in our side of the industry. And yeah, I mean, I I like to compete. I'm a cyclist. It's in me, the things I do, but I also know what I'm doing good, like what when you have an entrepreneur coming to you, sitting with you, and you instead of half an hour, you spend an hour, and you're just, like brainstorming with them ideas and stuff like that, and then eventually they say, wow, like we never expected this conversation to go this way, and thank you for all the intros, because through the call or through the meeting, I already sent intros to them, to maybe another potential investor who might be more in their space, or some person in an organization that I know who might be interested to work with them. And they say, yeah, wow, I mean, it was amazing that we took the time to see you and meet you, because we got so much. And that's what matters to me, that they feel that they got so much, that they come out of the meeting not with a check, okay? Because eventually the number of companies out of the thousands that are out there through the 4 years of the capital deployment of the fund, the number of companies who will invest in will be a fraction, like so small. So it's not the money that I'm giving the entrepreneurs, it's something else. And it's a mission to meet as many of them and sit with as many of them. An LP asked me a few days ago, how are you going to have the time to meet with all those entrepreneurs? I mean, it will be stupid of me not to have the time to meet all of those entrepreneurs. That's my job. That's what I need to do in this world, right? We work like, let's say 200 days a year, right? Without Shabbat and vacations. Each day you work 10 hours, right? That's like 2,000 hours. There are about 250 new companies in a year in Israel. If you spend even half an hour with all of them, and with the fraction that you really like, spend like 30 hours, you still have so much time to do other stuff. You can paint the wall if you want in your office, like every day, again and again. So I simply do not agree with that. We have all the time in the world to meet entrepreneurs. And I hope that every time I meet an entrepreneur, they go out with some value. They go out with something. Maybe I made an intro to them. Maybe I help them think about something differently. Maybe they hate me because I said no, but okay, they came out with something. They came out with something. That's what I matter most.
Excellent. I love that. First of all, your honesty is very important. And I'm sure it must be even hard as a VC to usually give a no as an answer, right? I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are out to raise money, and they're on the receiving end, and they need to grow into feeling comfortable, being uncomfortable, receiving no's. Byron Katie said, you could have anything in the world if you are willing to receive 1,000 no's.
Mm-hmm.
But giving 1,000 no's can be difficult as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you face that challenge?
I hate it.
So what do you do about it?
Again, I try to give a fast no. That's one thing. I look at the time that entrepreneurs dedicate to me as a gift, and I don't want to. How do you say? Be wasteful of that gift. So if I know from the get-go, from like the first 10 minutes, it's not for me, I'm gonna say it. And it's shit. I hate saying no. Who am I to say no to somebody who just left his job and is putting all the eggs in one basket and has a kid to feed? Who am I? Like, seriously. So I try to say a no in a way that, again, gives anything back, like maybe an idea, maybe something to think about, maybe an intro. I always tell them, reach out if you need anything in my network. I will do an intro, because why not? Really, why not? But I think you said something very good, is about being being able to accept a lot of no's builds character. Okay, I received hundreds of no's when I was looking for an internship as a young lawyer who fresh out of school. Hundreds of no's. Like, I'm not kidding you. I had a list of law firms that I approached. It was fax back then, who I even didn't get an answer or got a no. I got a lot of no's when I tried to find a job here in the venture capital world, even after 5.5 years in the industry with a lot of great deals behind me that I've done, that I've sourced, entrepreneurs that really love me and now investing in my fund. I got a shitload of no's. I get a lot of no's from LPs. You know how many LPs say no to me on a daily matter when I go and pitch to them 91 ventures that I want them to invest? I mean, I think I mainly get no's.
Yes.
And it's okay. I think the ability to look at the no as just like a noise in the background is something you need to build as an entrepreneur. Building a new venture capital fund, it is being an entrepreneur. Building a new startup, it is also. I know how I hate getting no's and how I value somebody who said no, but said, look, you're telling the story wrong. You are just not, you're not coming off as somebody reliable, let's say, if somebody says it. I don't know. If they just give another sentence next to their no, I value them. I value their no, you know, and I collect those and I cherish them and I go back to the drawing board to see how I can fix around that no. So coming back to being that position where I say no to entrepreneurs, I hate it. It sucks, but I try to give something next to it because I know what they are experiencing, and that empathy, I think, does matter. And there are many entrepreneurs that I've said no to, and are now investing in my fund. It's crazy, like entrepreneurs that I said no because I don't know, my bosses didn't like the investment, the people that were above me in previous funds or places that I was just didn't really, think it was a good investment. I thought differently, but I had to say the no eventually because it was, I sourced the deal. We remain friends. Now they're investing in 91 ventures. A lot of the entrepreneurs that I said no to, but gave some value back, send me their friends. They tell them, guys, you need to go and sit with Kfir. He might not invest, probably not invest because of the small odds, but you will get something back, and it's worth your time. So knowing that I am worth an entrepreneur's time, that's it. I can retire now. Like, I cannot financially, but like with that, I can retire.
Beautiful. May I ask how much you've raised as a VC till now?
Sure. So we want to be a $30 million fund, okay, and we raised 15. So we raised half of it, and we started fundraising in April, and now we have like 2 months of summer because everybody is vacationing. It's unbelievable. But people who can, they go on vacation in the summer, and I accept it. So in a very short time, we reach the halfway milestone for our fundraising. But yeah, it's still the main mission, basically. Yeah.
Excellent. That's very nice. Beautiful. Okay. So you are looking to invest in the unique outliers. Now, what kind of companies do you not want to invest in?
Well, it's gonna sound weird, but there are areas of technology or innovation that I know I do not want to invest just because it's not a good fit to my business model as an early stage fund, as a small fund who doesn't have too much money in the world to to continue fueling something that doesn't work. And for example, a company that is developing a new drug in the medical space has to go through many years of FDA, blah blah blah. It's just not. It's not for me. It's so capital intensive in terms of scaling that it's just not a good business fit for me. Same thing with many of the hardware ideas. They need a lot of money to build the hardware. It's very hard to get to a product that is then scalable, to build a supply chain, a factory, whatever. So there are areas that I know I do not want to play in, just because it's not a good fit for when I expect returns, blah blah blah. And then there are areas that are so that are so challenging to invest in without having an industry expertise, like cybersecurity, for example. I know it will be very hard for me to do a cybersecurity deal. I have logged myself into that. I have venture partners who I'm saying, that's your areas of interest. If you bring a deal in cybersecurity, you due diligence it, you'll get a piece of the eventual success on that. Sababa. I simply cannot. But maybe one of the 15 companies the fund will invest in will be a cybersecurity. I know that it will be very hard for me to invest in companies that are founded by teams that have already exited 4 companies, for example, right? They don't even have a deck, and they go and they raise on crazy valuations. That's not a good deal for me. I'm sorry, but I need to do stuff differently. I'm a small fund. I need to go very, very early in terms of the valuations. So yeah, it might be a great fit for many other funds who will compete on that, but it's just not for me. And I do not want to get out of my focus to find those outliers, those maybe first timers, those people that are, I don't know, trying to find innovation in or create something amazing around generative art. Okay, generative art is now like something a little new. It's already becoming a little bit mainstream because of DALL-E and everything that people see all the time. But still, like bringing it into the business world and creating a true product around it is something kind of like frontier thinking, and people that are like taking a huge risk. Like nobody yet knows how it's going to be evolved with day-to-day businesses. So those are areas that I care about most, or not most, but I care about. But even look at the food tech world. Okay, I was a champion of that. I was an evangelist of that from very, very early days of it in the country. But now it is such a big part of the ecosystem. There aren't many pre-seed companies in that world right now, right? Because those that really had some amazing innovation have already done it a few years ago and started the companies a few years ago. Sure. Now it's time to scale. It's time for the bigger check sizes to come in and into that industry. So if I would have been focusing on food tech now, then I would probably have very limited supply of pre-seed companies. So I'm stepping away. I said, okay, I've done food tech for many years. Now I'm going to do something else. So I'm always looking at that edge. So I am looking for that outliers. I am going to invest in the world of software mainly, okay, because that's just better to scale or easier to scale or less capital intensive. I'm going to do more around B2B revenue models, selling to businesses, not to governments, not necessarily to consumers. I'm not a good consumer investor. Although, I have a very strong consuming mentality, my wife will tell you, because I buy so many sneakers. I'm a consumer. But yeah, I mean, those kind of worlds, and I love companies with strong technology in their essence, like something really unique, something really defensible, something that creates a barrier in a way. Not necessarily mean I patent, because I do not like patents, but you know what I mean.
Excellent. What are you tolerating?
What am I tolerating?
Yes.
Wow, that's a good question. What do I tolerate? I cannot tolerate liars.
What are you tolerating?
What am I tolerating? Basically, time. Meaning that it is frustrating sometimes that it takes so much time to find that one investment, that it takes so much time to close your fund, that it takes so much time to, I don't know, time can be very frustrating to somebody like me, that I can tell you about myself that I am I look for those quick satisfactions, right? I buy a lot of sneakers because I feel great buying a sneaker, and then I go home and I say, "Fuck, 800 shekels went to the garbage. I'm gonna wear it only like a few times a year." So I have a very big problem of pushing my satisfaction. So I'm working on myself to tolerate how a lot of things just take time. Building your brand, putting it out there, making it a household brand in the industry that everybody will recognize, that everybody will understand what you're building, that the press will write about you as an outlier thingy in the market. Yeah, I'm not a $300 million fund. I'm not interesting. I'm not a big headline for them, but it will take time. It will take time to get there. It will take years for this to become an unbelievable entity within our ecosystem in Israel. But it will get there. But it will take time, and I need to tolerate that.
Let me challenge your thinking there. You keep going back. Let me challenge your thinking.
Okay.
You keep going back to trying to get into the press. But why?
Honestly, of course, honestly, because I don't know how to not be honest. Because I want to get a tap on the shoulder.
From who?
From
mainstream?
I do not know if it's mainstream, but I want to be recognized.
By whom?
By the objective crowd, I would say.
Is that what? There is no such thing. You are an outlier. You are proof that there is no such thing.
I know, but if you look, okay, if you look at the track record of my partner and I, unbelievable track record. Like the numbers are crazy. I'm embarrassed to show them because people think I'm lying. Like it's that crazy. However, I am seeking. I don't know why. Maybe it's something in my deep conscience or psychologically. I want that somebody will write about me.
Why?
I want it. Because it's something that I'm lacking. I'm seeing all those lists, like the Forbes 30 under 30. I'm seeing all the 40 under 40. I don't know. I want to be on one of them. I want my mother to be open to open globes and say, "Wow, look at my son." I don't want to be I mean, I do want to be a millionaire. I want to be rich and have all the financial worries behind me. But I also want my family, my mother, my grandma, to have that angle of the press or whatever about me that they can brag about. Right?
Do you really
because
think...
I don't go to them and I tell them, "Hey, I started a fund just 6 months ago. We already raised $15 million. I don't bore them with the details. It doesn't matter. Like who gives a fuck? I'm sorry for the language, right? When Globes or Kalkalist or whatever writes about you, it means that somebody who's not necessarily an outlier focused, somebody who's not necessarily living on the sidelines, but in the deep mainstream, you have rose to the radar. You have made them, you became interesting to them. So it's stupid. You might say, Kfir, I mean, come on, dude, like you're making an awesome brand. You are lucky that you managed to raise $15 million in 2 months, where people take 2 years. You're lucky. I mean, count your blessings, but there is something that is missing in me. That's...
Your name is Kfir. Kfir is a stage of a lion's life, and your son's name is
Lavi.
That's another stage in the lion's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You as his father, would you ever really care if whatever he does in life, if he gets the press or not? Would that
if he gets depressed, of course I would care.
Meaning it would make a difference to you
if
he gets in?
I'm sorry, I thought you said depressed.
No.
You meant if he gets pressed, like, okay.
Yes.
No, I would care if he'll be happy.
That's correct. So do you believe that your mom really needs you to be in the press for her to feel proud of you?
No.
Okay.
But it matters to me.
It matters to you because you have this image. See, we have a complex. You and I are in the same boat. Outliers are messed up because we see how the rest of the world is, and the rest of the world operates in a specific way, and we just can't get in. And we think that we need to.
Mm-hmm.
And if we only get in, that would fix everything.
Yeah, I get what you say, but it will not fix anything. It doesn't matter. I get it, but again, it's something in the deep psychological things that drive that I have in me has many elements to what drives me. Okay, a lot is about the financial. Yeah, for sure. I'm not gonna steal $15 million and go rest somewhere, but I want to make bank, and I'm not apologetic for that.
That's great.
I have made amazing investments in my career. People are getting rich out of them. I don't, because I was employed for, or I don't have any financial interest in abilities in those companies anymore. I want to feel that also. I want not to be stressed about my minus anymore. I want to be able to help whoever close some loans. I care about that, and I am successful at what I do. I know it will take time. And it's again, coming back to your question about what frustrates me is that I know it takes time.
Well, once again, getting into the press is not necessarily the way to go. There's
Maybe.
no guarantee that getting into the press will even help you in any.
Maybe.
It may actually work as a negative, right? I'll give you an example. I don't have a website, at least not yet. I'm not against websites, right? But I don't have one. It won't serve me at the moment, right? In fact, my highest paying client to date came to me because I don't have a website. In their words, they told me, we're not the type of people to hire a coach who has a website, because that means you're just like everyone else. But because you didn't have a website and you don't have a website, that's like, huh, so maybe you're not for everyone, because we're not everyone. And that's where I got my big bucks.
I mean, I love it, because even when I look at about myself and the people that have invested in me and invested big million commitments, they did invest in me because of whatever article. But now that I need to breach into news circles of people that I don't know even, when I look about like a press release or like being written about, it is something that might be useful for me to get on the radar, for me to get more credibility in their opinions.
The question is, on which radar do you want to get? Because the people who are influenced by those media is one type, right? That's one category, which is most probably true to say the vast majority.
Yeah.
And then you have a smaller category of unique people who don't really give a damn about what happens in the media. They may not even read the media so much, if at all, but they still are looking to invest. So they don't care about what the masses do, right? They're not like everyone else, right? I'm not saying don't go to the press, but this urge to feel that you need to be there, and that's what's going to help you in any way, I'm challenging that thought. Because we could get stuck in that thinking, if I only had this, if I was only more popular, if only more people knew about me, if only the world would shine light on me, that would fix my problems. I would be more attractive to more people.
Yeah.
The question is, which people are you aiming at? The same way you're aiming to invest your money into specific people, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not looking to take anyone's money. You're looking for specific people's money. Because you have to convince your LPs who you're going to be investing in, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
if they're aligned with the type of people that you want to invest in, then that's a perfect match. But if you're
Yeah.
going to be getting money from the mainstream and you're saying, but I only invest in the outliers, you're going to have some tension there. Because they're going to say, but what outliers? We want to invest in the next Zuckerberg. I don't know what, right? And then what are you going to do with their money? They're either not going to give you the money or they're not going to let you invest ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, but it is still a challenge. You need to get in front of a big number of people that you don't know. I haven't spent years in the market building my investors Rolodex. I don't. I've spent years in the market creating my entrepreneurs Rolodex. That side of the ecosystem, that side of the deal making, that's where I feel comfortable. I feel that I know the people, that I know people know me. On the side that is money, I haven't, and
So
that's
what's
okay.
the hidden gift in this so-called problem?
I do not understand.
You described a problem that you've been focusing mostly on the type of entrepreneurs that you like to invest in and not in the Rolodex of the investors.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the gift hidden inside this so-called problem?
That I'm very strong on the deal sourcing type. That's the gift, I think.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but I think that is the.
Be anything, yeah, of course. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. You could go out to people and say, I'm not like everyone else. My background, my strength, my super strength is I've been focusing primarily on the entrepreneur side, finding the perfect entrepreneurs who I could invest in, not only invest money, invest my time, connections, my knowledge, my wisdom, and everything else that they get from me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I'm working only with the best people, not wasting my time or my investors' time. So I'm not looking for just any investor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for someone who knows exactly what they want, someone who's been on the street, more street smart than book smart, someone who's boots on the ground, not like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's your super strength. That's what makes you unique. You sell that. That's who you are. That differentiates you. That's another category. It's not only that you invest in the outliers, but about you. You're not like any other investor in your personality in that form,
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't grow up in the same path as everyone else. You're coming from the opposite direction. And that's turning a bug into a feature.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in our materials in our deck, the second slide after the opening graphic is a picture of Dennis Rodman jumping into a crowd, grabbing the rebound. And then the mission is basically around like misfits and finding the misfits and trailblazing with them. That's the lingo I use. That's what I write. However, to be dead honest, it's we are getting a lot of no's from people who don't know us. Luckily, the people who do know us and have invested with us are not even thinking twice. They're like, I mean, we are here, like, and I feel stupid to bitch about where I'm at now, but I've raised a lot of money very, very fast. I mean, my partner and we've raised a lot of money very, very fast. And we're probably going to continue doing it, but it's time.
It's not only time. And first of all, don't be shy about what you've accomplished, because it's not bragging if you've done it.
It's not bragging if you've done it. Okay.
You've done it. It's true. You have already raised it. It's not bragging. You've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, bragging is when you haven't really done it and you're making believe. You've done it. Tell everyone. Other funds aren't shy to say how much they raised.
Mm-hmm.
That shows a form of value.
Interesting.
Huge.
I'm even I haven't yet even created a LinkedIn post about 91 Ventures, like saying I have a graphic that is ready, like a picture I created on Canva that shows like Earth from the moon, like the Earth rising, and says "Hello World," which I don't know if you ever wrote code, but every time you learn a new code language, the first thing you do
Hello
is
world.
create an output with "Hello World."
Correct.
Hello World and the logo of 91 Ventures. That's it. Like that's the picture. I want to write a few words. I have been pushing this as a thing to do for so many months now because I feel, how do I say it? I feel weird talking about
We
myself.
are on a mission to support the misfits, outliers, and frontier fighters, or whatever you want to call them,
Mhm.
who are not looking to be like everyone else.
Mhm.
And they're actually the trend setters. Like you gave an example with Dennis Rodman. Right? I've been growing this beard for quite a while now, right? And for years, it wasn't in fashion in many communities in the world, right?
Yeah.
Then baseball players a few years ago, basketball players,
Feel the beard.
right? Right? It's like suddenly like, what?
Mhm.
So this guy, I saw this like Harley Davidson guy in Jerusalem a few years ago, and he crossed the street to talk to me, and he said, "Man, that's such a cool beard and everything." Right? He says, "How long have you been growing that beard?" And I told him how long it's been. I don't know. Then it was like 15 years already, and
Wow.
and he's like, "You are a trendsetter. You're ahead of the curve, man. Everyone's catching up to what you've been doing now. This is the way to go, right?"
Mhm.
That's what you're looking for. Different is better than better.
Mhm.
I think it was Napoleon Hill who said that whenever he goes into a new market, ventures into a new market, he says, "I see what everyone else is doing, and I go in the opposite direction, because
Yeah.
almost always the majority is wrong." And it takes a rebel, it takes someone like you to stand up to the stream. That's who
Mhm.
you are. Those are your people. You don't want to be for everyone. Highlight the fact that you are not like everyone.
Mhm.
You are unique. And so are your investors, and so are your investments.
Yeah.
I even see in your logo how you cut off the 91 and they're not aligned, right?
Yeah.
It's because there's like misalignment between the world and you.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I see.
even look at the colors. It's not normal financial entity colors. It's not the blue, black, gray, white palette.
You are not normal. You're not like everyone else. Be proud of that. That's who
Just
you
like
are.
just like Mel Ariel said, am I
Yes,
crazy being normal?
that's right. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. This is an ongoing struggle that we have,
Mhm.
but it's well worth it. Be
Yeah.
different. Be you. Don't try to fit into everyone else. That's my advice to you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It is the way I live my life. Okay. Honestly, everything I do, even in the world of cycling, like wearing like bold pink, purple colors before anybody else started wearing them in the country. Everybody was like wearing black, like many years ago, like that. That's what, like black, red, white, blue. We like I have this cycling club that I design the kits for, the cycling kit, the garments every year. And every year it's crazier. It's colors, it's like in your face. It's unbelievable. I have to show you on an occasion. That's how I've lived my life by default. That's how I live my life by default.
Perfect.
I don't know how to do anything else. But it is a constant struggle, like you said, to be a misfit in a world that is stagnating on norms,
Yes.
putting norms into place.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
The financial industry, by definition, is a very normative seeking industry. It's a very, there's a lot of risk mitigating. Yeah, in Hebrew we say keren hon sikun, right? We think about the risk, but how many venture capitalists do you know here that are really risk takers?
Right.
How many do you know that really, bet on areas of technology or innovation that are not yet, that Andreessen Horowitz is not yet playing there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How many? Like, I'll give you an example. Forbes just released the I think 1,000 fastest growing companies in the world, startups. Two of them are in the cannabis industry and good people that I know from the beginning of their businesses. When I wanted to invest in them, it was in our crowd. I brought it into the table. People said, nah. These people are still good friends of mine. These people were trailblazers. They were trendsetters. And now they are $1 billion worth of companies. I'm going to New York in a few weeks, and I'm like, I'm texting them like, yeah, for sure, we're gonna catch we're gonna catch beers, and you create a different bond with the entrepreneurs
Sure.
who are unique to you, to
Mm-hmm.
what you are looking for. When you believe in them, when all the others haven't, and look to them from back in a snobbish position, they cherish you, and I cherish them. It's weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I totally hear this. I hear the challenge. And I'm here to tell you that it's well worth it.
Mm-hmm. It is, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much, Kfir.
Thank you, my man. Thanks for reaching out. It was like, I like it. I like the randomness. Is that how you say? Of this. And good luck on like the brilliant stuff you do, and the value in your posts. I mean, at least as somebody who reads them after we got connected, I see the authenticity in them, and like when you publish things, it's really interesting the conversation you've had, and you're lucky. I mean, you're getting to learn from so many amazing people.
So are you, like you. I'm getting to learn from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right. So, arrivederci.
Arrivederci. And